Hello guys, and welcome to the Untold Season 1 Episode 1. This episode will be broken down into parts as you guys had turns to share, which I'm very thankful for. So this episode will have 3 stories, and I'll start with the first one, which is the principle of the error. So let the gates open. Wash. So I remember, I can't say that I went to a really bad school compared to what people went through, but this will be the story of the principal that ruled between 2014 and 2017 and his punishment. So let's begin this. Now, I remember he was really huge, like he used to cover up hallways and he had this like dark walk to him, and he really had big feet that you could hear the stamping of the foot. Then he had this distinguishable perfume, like you could literally know that this guy was here 5 minutes ago. And I can't say he was all bad. Of course there were some good things about him. But he was really terrifying. Like, let me give you an example. So say students were like outside and they were just like talking and just making noise. He would just appear out of nowhere, and once you saw him, his presence alone was just terrifying. Like he could literally stand there and all of a sudden you just happen to close your eyes, open them, and all the students have suddenly disappeared into thin air and they are back in class. Others are pretending to read. I used to enjoy that part when they would open books quickly and just pretend to read something, even though we know they are not. Now, I remember I used to do this thing where I would stare at him, just to gain a bit of dominance, to show him that I'm not afraid of him, but in the real sense I was, until one day he was like, "Hey Frank, mbona wanitazama?" I think my classmates remember. And I was like, what? Anyway, at least he was kind of a little bit afraid of me, although I'm not sure. Maybe conspiracy. Anyway, I used to wonder why I would wake up so early. Like, you go to read these subjects that I know in life that you may not really use them. I don't know if anybody feels like this. Like, when was the last time you took chemicals and mixed them up so that you can cross the road, you know? I used to wonder why we used to learn all these things, and I never used them. So you had to be in class by like 5:30 a.m. That is when your day starts. If not, he would stop all those people that came from dorms to class and then taunt you and then take you to the basketball court. And let's say, I'm going to put this in Kiswahili, utabwaga cholesterol yote kutoka kwa mwili. When he takes you to the basketball court. Now you go to his punishments. He would make you do 100 push-ups, 100 laps, 100 sit-ups, 100 everything. And I think I gained a 6-pack after the first 2 punishments. Because I was like so ripped. Don't tell anyone though. And then I remember one thing that I never used to like were the push-ups, because they used to make your groin and your hands feel like there was a candle burning. Especially also the frog jumps too. They were really painful. And if you would mess up, you would repeat all of it again. And these punishments would go from 5:30 to 10 a.m. So you've not showered, you've not eaten, and you're expected to be lively in class. And I'm like, how? The girls used to do some push-ups and they'd be like, ah, and stand and give up. But anyway, that's the end of that story. We go to story 2, where I explain about, well, my life in high school. So you guys have always, now I'm sure you're asking, how was I back then? Like, I can tell you, I used to be on a pedal stool and everybody used to adore me. Now, if you are with me in school, you know that's crap. These guys at the screen right now were the ones that were the ones on the pedal stool. Everyone worshipped me. And I remember there's someone who headbutted with the administrator that day. Anyway, now I used to be like a loner. I used to sit on this famous rock that everybody knew me for it, and people would always ask me, why are you always alone? And I'm like, I don't know, I just like being alone. I'd brainstorm ideas. And I had this special friend, her name was Val. We would always had crazy times that I still cherish to this day. She would always remind me to be always happy. In fact, we had this telepathy that I could sense, that we could sense when one of us was on the famous rock. We made crazy dreams. We had crazy dreams together. Like one day I just woke up and I was like, Val, I'm going to take you to the Great Wall of China when we are done with this place. By the way, Val, we need to make that dream come true. We have to go to the Great Wall of China and I fly you over it. Anyways, I used to have this friend called Steve. His music moved me, especially when I was down. He really had a taste for music and he was a really good producer. And there was Lily on our other rock partner, the most kind person I know. And then there was Tesh, who could teach you all the dance moves in the world. And then there was John and JB, who would always talk about aviation and our dreams of becoming rich pilots. Not much for that, but anyway, let's continue. I had this desk mate that I didn't talk to for a year until this is a funny story. We would sit and never talk, like literally for a whole year, and until one day she didn't have a pencil, so I snapped my pencil in half and sharpened the other end and gave it to her. Then she was like, maybe this dude is not bad after all. And then we'd talk, we'd start talking little by little, get to know each other. And I would say when we were together, our lives were full of colors, and the darkness that I feared would disappear. It was a really nice time. I really enjoyed time with her, and we made more memories after high school, so I'm glad for that. She's a really special person. Her name was Cynthia, one of the best desk mates I've ever had, and it was really fun with her, so that's what I can say. And I remember I used to play a lot of rugby, even though I was 60 kg. I was below the minimum weight. Guys would make fun of me because I was thin. And all I did was think about making games. I've explained the story of how I started making games. I would think about flying planes most of the time, and it was really good. Anyway, so that's my story. Hope you enjoyed it. And now we move on to story number 3, which is the strike that never happened. Let's go. So this story was very intriguing and I had to cover it. So, sometime in the year 2015, some 3 guys decided that they were going to end this guy's regime. They were tired and they needed to strike, and the one way that they were going to do it, they were going to torch and burn the place, which to me was not really smart, you know. I mean, to torch a whole school, that's a lot of that's a big task. Anyway, so they waited until around 10 p.m. when everyone was sound asleep and had gone to the dorms, and they knew this was their time to strike. So one of them snuck to the library and decided that they were going to light up a calendar and then the flames would spread to the entire floors in the school, which to me was a really weird idea. So he lit up the calendar with a matchstick and the whole school was burning. I can't believe this. In fact, his friends joined in to celebrate that they were burning the school. Oh wow, they were so happy. but you know, in this series, things are not always as they seem. So, this never really happened because this was just a mirage of their imaginations. So all this was just imaginations, and the idea was unwise, and I'll tell you why. You see, they only lit up a calendar, and the calendar wasn't enough to burn the concrete of the wall, which to me was a foolish idea. So they thought that they had burnt the school, which to me I was like, what? So they ran away thinking that they got away with it, but to their shock, someone saw them and they didn't realize, and I will cover what happened to them in the next part of this episode. This has been fun. I have enjoyed telling you guys my stories. It will be continued. Don't forget to watch part 2, which will be coming out soon. And I will tell you what happened to the 3 guys who planned the strike that never happened. Thank you so much. Did you guys enjoy it? Tell me. Anyway, peace out. Bye. Viska, inshallah.